I hopped in my car and drove down to California to escape the Canadian winter, but also to do something I've wanted to do since I was a kid. Go on The Price is Right. When I was a kid and sick at home, I knew that at least I'd be able to watch Bob Barker with his tiny little microphone on one of the best game shows ever made. I haven't watched The Price is Right a ton since it switched over to Drew Carey as the host, which was almost 20 years ago. What? But I remember almost all of the classic games like Plinko, Cliffhangers, and Pathfinder.
Yes, go get it.
One of the things I loved about The Price is Right is that anyone in the audience could be called up for a chance to win instead of the same 3 contestants the whole show. I also love all of the mini games instead of the same kind of puzzle each time. But as a game designer, I want to be as prepared as possible to increase my chances of actually getting on the stage and winning a game. I'll attempt to use strategy, probabilities, statistics, and pricing knowledge to stack the odds in my favor. So I found a really cool website called The Price is Right Stats, which I'll link to in the description of the video, as well as all of my other sources for this video. Price is Right Stats has data from every show going back to 1972. I also found a really cool wiki for The Price is Right that has a ton of helpful lists and stats of previous episodes. And I found this article by Ben Blatt on Slate.com where he compiled a lot of the stats from the Price is Right Stats website and suggests the best strategy for each game based on the data from past episodes. Now, Ben's guide is over 10 years old, so I don't know how accurate it still is today, but I feel like it should be a helpful overall approach. So what is my strategy to not only get picked to come on down, but to also make a good bid on Bidder's Row to get up on the stage, win whatever game they throw at me, make it past the showcase showdown, and ultimately win the final showcase? Well, let's start with getting picked. Out of the audience of 300 people, only 9 get called down each episode. That means there's only a 3% chance that I'll get picked. And my chances of getting past contestants or Bidder's Row decreases the later on I get picked, as I'll have fewer chances of making a good bid and getting on stage. So to increase my chances of getting picked, I'll be sure to get there super early since my ticket is not a guarantee that I'll even get in. I read a few blogs that suggest getting there a few hours early. In an email from The Price is Right, they told me to get there before 12. So I'll aim to get there around 10:30 just to be sure. Next, I'll follow the dress code, which is colorful, bright, fun colors. Colorful colors? Check. Avoid wearing white clothing, no corporate logos or suggestive phrases or pictures, and closed-toed flat shoes. After I arrive, I'll go through audience processing, which from what I understand will be like a small group interview. And this will be my time to be super friendly and as outgoing as I can be. Apparently, they might ask you what you do, so when I tell them I'm a board game designer, maybe that'll pique their interest since it's not a common profession and potentially put me higher on their list. Then we'll eventually go into the studio and I'll continue to be as enthusiastic as possible and also just enjoy being there whether I get picked or not. If I do happen to hear the magic words, "Pam, come on down," well, then we will move into stage 2 of this strategic plan. This will mean I've made it to contestants or Bidder's Row. And out of the 9 contestants who make it to contestants row, only 6 make it onto the stage. So I need to be super strategic in this part. In Ben Blatt's guide, he mentions that most people underbid on items on Bidder's Row. So if I'm first to bid, I'll bid higher than I might think, hoping the other contestants think that I overbid and I'll bid $1. And statistically speaking, it rarely makes sense to bid $1. The chances of winning with a $1 bid are between 5 and 23%, according to Ben Blatt and the data he gathered from the Price is Right stats. If I'm second, third, or fourth to bid, I should almost always bid $1 more than the highest bid. Even though I would feel like a jerk doing it, I would have a 53 to 76% chance of winning if I do this. But I will need general knowledge of how much things cost in US dollars to give myself the best shot. On the Price is Right wiki, they have a full list of all of the actual prices of all items featured on Bidder's Row. I'll go down this list and make a guess for each item before seeing the correct price. I'll aim to do this until I get 5 in a row within $100 of the correct price. Let's say we make the best bid and actually get on stage. According to the Price is Right wiki, there are 77 active games on the show, and the 5 most frequently played games are Double Prices, Most Expensive, Any Number, Money Game, and Range Game.
You got it!
So I'm going to focus on these 5 and then focus on any game that has some sort of strategy involved. For double prices, you have to choose the correct price of a prize between two options. According to Ben Blatt's guide, you have a marginally better chance of guessing correctly when picking the smaller number. The smaller number is correct 52.3% of the time, and guessing randomly is 50%. For this one, I might rely more on my pricing knowledge, but if I'm unsure, I'll go with the smaller number. For most expensive, you have to pick which of the three prizes is the most expensive. Unfortunately, Ben did not find a winning strategy for this game that is better than just guessing randomly. Contestants win this game just over 50% of the times, so I will also rely on my pricing knowledge, cross my fingers, and hope for the best. In any number, contestants guess one number at a time, and it will appear in the price of either a car, a smaller prize, or a piggy bank, which is less than $10. According to Ben's research, there is a higher probability that digits besides 0 and 5 will appear in the price of the car. So I'll guess any numbers randomly besides 0 and 5. In Money Game, you have to guess the first two digits and the last two digits of a car. The middle number is revealed at the start of the game. Ben suggests we would have a 59% chance of winning as opposed to the average of 46% if we guess the smallest pairs of numbers sequentially. And then there's Range Game, the classic game where a red screen slowly moves up a list of numbers, and you have to stop it when the screen is covering an area that contains the correct price of a prize. The area the screen covers is a range of $150. Ben says the best strategy statistically is to stop the range when the bottom of the screen is $180 above the starting price. This will require a bit of quick math, which can be tough sometimes under pressure, so I might round that up to $200 to keep things super simple. Now I will go over the best strategies for all of the other games, but I'll do that off screen since I don't want this video to be 3 hours long. Ben marked any games that can be won at a higher percentage with a better strategy than the current contestants average on his guide, so I'll focus on those. But let's say we win our game. Now we get to spin the big wheel.
The Price is Right.
This is called a Showcase Showdown, and it's where 3 contestants spin a wheel and try to have it land on a price as close to $1 as possible.
$1,000 for $1, you got it. $1,000 and you get a
The contestants can then choose to spin again and add their second spin to their first, or lock in their first. If the contestant goes over $1, they are eliminated. If another contestant spins a number higher than the previous contestant's number, the contestant with the lower number is also eliminated. Whoever is left with the number closer to $1 without going over will then move on to the final showcase at the end of the episode. You might think there isn't any strategy to the Showcase Showdown, but a study was done in 2002 and published in the Economic Journal on this exact topic. Researchers found that contestants often choose not to spin the wheel a second time when they statistically should. The suggested strategies from the study are: the first contestant should spin again if they have 65 cents or less. The second contestant should spin again if they are behind player 1, which they have to do anyway, or if they are ahead of player 1 but have less than 50 cents, or if they are tied with player 1 but have less than 65 cents. The final contestant should spin again if they are tied with another contestant with a score of less than 50 cents, and if they are tied with more than 50 cents, they're better off pressing the luck in the tiebreaker spin-off. Now, who thinks I'll be able to remember all of this if I actually make it to the Showcase Showdown? Not me! But at the very least, I'll remember to spin again if I spin 65 cents or less. And now, let's say we make it to the final showcase. This is where 2 contestants are shown a prize package, and the first contestant can choose to guess how much they think the total prize costs, or pass it on to the other contestant, and then the first contestant gets a second prize package to wager on. Ben says there isn't much strategy here beyond having good pricing knowledge, but did say that a guess of $20,000 would result in a winning percentage of 54%. But remember, his article was written over 10 years ago, so I checked the Price is Right stats for the latest numbers. In the most recent season, the median price of a showcase was $32,298, with most showcases being between $30,000 and $34,999. No showcase was below $20,000, and no showcase was over $54,000. That is a pretty wide range though, so pricing knowledge and doing some quick math will be necessary. Well friends, I'm off to the studio. Wish me luck, but hopefully with our strategy and gamer mindset, we won't need it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everybody.
have 30 seconds to give us the price of both the sleds and the winter clothing. If you can do that, both in 30 seconds, you win the trip to Finland. $25 for the
How much for the omelet maker? $23.
chances. You have 10 chances to give us the price of the vacuum, the bakeware, and then the car. Right? You're gonna write in the answers yourself. We're gonna start out with the vacuum. 3 numbers to choose from. We're gonna use 2 of them to give us the price of the vacuum. Just the first 2 and the last 2 numbers. If you can do that before you get 4 wrong, that's your brand new Toyota Camry right over there.
26.
26. Nope.
Go get it! Go get it! Jackass!
This guy sucks.